Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now October 11th of 2024, and I think it's very safe to say at this point that many different programs associated with ABC, such as The View, Good Morning America, Jimmy Kimmel Live, all of them are nothing more than a messaging program for the Disney higher-ups to really get their voice and their agenda out there to the public. We all know this, they know this as well, they just will never admit that, of course, to the general public, but we also know at the same exact time, Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, he is in both double down mode and damage control mode, which, by the way, is quite contradictory in nature. We all know that Bob Iger never truly believes in what he's talking about. He just goes with the flow. Whatever it takes to string along the core customer base and the shareholders into the following year is all he really cares about. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, Whoopi Goldberg, we know that this individual in particular is one of the worst TV show hosts on live television in 2024. There is no doubt about that. In fact, I still am questioning why The View is still in existence and why it's getting the support that it's getting to really keep it on TV. Who knows? But what's interesting about this has a lot more to do with how Disney's been taking action toward Whoopi Goldberg and how there's now a lot of in-studio battles going on between those that are associated with Disney and those that are high up at Disney, such as the executives, the board, Bob Iger, you name it. This is where things begin to erupt involving Whoopi Goldberg, and we talked a little bit about more of this yesterday, and there's a lot more going on with The View than a lot of people would actually know. So let's dive into this. Now, with the Disney executives now in damage control mode over various projects associated with different divisions at the company, one monumental development going on now involves more to do with Whoopi Goldberg and more drama going on behind the scenes at the Disney company. Now, one crucial update to the Goldberg situation that's now beginning to grow at a fast rate involves how Goldberg was promised 3 months ago about a contract renewal that was going to raise her annual salary from $8 million to $15 million on The View. This was a plan that was practically final between Bob Iger and the Disney execs and those over at ABC working with Goldberg and her massive raise. The shocking turn of events now is that this is no longer moving ahead after Whoopi created a ton of issues behind closed doors of The View at ABC, as she felt that she was being used and deserved a way higher pay raise in comparison to what Joy Behar is going to get in the coming months. This created tons of in-studio battles over the past number of days that erupted into chaos that rattled throughout all of ABC and hence eventually back up to the Disney heads. The drama escalated to a point where Goldberg deeply criticized Bob Iger as being incompetent as a CEO toward taking care of his TV show hosts, and this sparked many awkward gatherings behind the scenes that led to Goldberg now officially losing out on that massive pay raise that was going to kickstart her time at The View. Now, this comes shortly after Goldberg was removed from Toy Story 5 in 2026, as we talked about yesterday, that was going to hand her millions of dollars after she made an issue of being underpaid for that as well, by a couple of $1 million. However, it doesn't stop there. Bob Iger and his cost containment plan also played a massive role in this, and Goldberg had a very big problem with Iger's decision for cutting, of course, and actually cost-cutting, not just at ABC, but toward The View, and that show specifically, and Goldberg had personal issues with that, and with Iger's decision to move ahead with everything. This in turn created massive arguments between Goldberg and the Disney heads that were messaged through her agent and manager. As of now, between losing out on Toy Story 5 and her View pay raise vanishing, she lost on well over $10 million worth of raises. Now, the biggest one of all, that Disney was preparing to debut a Whoopi Goldberg special on Disney Plus that they plan to create and release by 2026. More on that in just a second. Now, guys, let me just say one thing about Whoopi Goldberg, is that I think that she is just being absolutely insane. This woman, do you know how much she has in the bank? She has millions upon millions of dollars. Alright, she doesn't need the $10 million here, the $15 million here. She doesn't need it at all. Trust me on this. Now, what's really interesting about this is that I think that this is more or less of an ego-centric issue, where she does not want to be outperformed by another person on The View, such as Joy Behar getting a higher pay raise than her, or being a part of the Toy Story 5 cast, which she lost, by the way. She's no longer a part of that as Stretch. A lot of other voiceover actors and actresses were getting a higher payout than her, and she really had a very big issue with that. But what's interesting about that is that this goes beyond how Goldberg was acting. A lot of it also had to do with how Goldberg was criticizing Bob Iger's cost-cutting measures toward ABC, and specifically toward The View, and how there's going to be a lot of alterations and revisions applied to that actual program, and Goldberg is not having it. She's taking it on a very personal level. Specifically why, who knows? This is Whoopi Goldberg, after all, a Disney hire, and somebody that you would expect to act in such a way if you are associated with Disney, let's be honest. Now, moving ahead, alright, continuing from the last point, it was said to feature a Goldberg doing stand-up comedy special again in her later years that would be all pre-taped. This too is no longer officially happening and no longer moving forward, and the special was going to grant Goldberg, get this, $20 million right off the bat, since it was going to be treated as a revival of herself as a comedian. Bob Iger decided to scrub this project from their roster since it was just going to be too costly in nature. Her doing this special also works hand in hand with the rumblings from months ago that Goldberg wanted to do more live comedy shows again. So I don't know why she's trying to revisit her stand-up comedy roots and where she really began her career. Beyond me, kind of similar to what Joy Behar did decades ago, Goldberg wanted to revive that on Disney Plus, and it was going to happen. It was in the making. They were just about to get things started in 2025 to debut this thing in 2026, and they axed it, and rightfully so. I think that she deserved everything what she got based on the comments that she's creating and all the chaos that she's creating. And look, I'm not defending Disney by any means. I'm just saying they all eventually eat each other. They eat their own. That's how it works over at Disney. That's how it works with the woke and everything else going on with the way Bob Iger handles things. That's just how it is. But at the same exact time, we know that Whoopi Goldberg is not going to stop here. Expect more out of this world crazy nonsense happening over at The View, ABC, Disney, specifically the Walt Disney Company, and everything else by Bob Iger just beginning to fall into oblivion. We know it's going to happen in 2025. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about The View, the ABC ratings tanking, by the way, which we all know why the ratings aren't doing so well in 2024 and how they are going to continue to fall in 25. But I would like to hear what everyone has to say about Goldberg's situation. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.